So now that we've done our first noticing exercise, our first meditation, we're going to come into an open monitoring meditation this time. Don't worry if you don't know what that is, that's okay. Some of you may have heard of the term before, some of you may not. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a brief description about what open monitoring meditation is. So it's the style of meditation that we'll be using throughout our course. And it's a useful style because the way that it's established, it helps us apply it to our real life. So open monitoring meditation is where we focus on one thing. We take our attention to a meditation object. And although it's called a meditation object, it doesn't have to be a physical object. It can be an action. For example, today we're going to use the breath. And we're going to use the breath because the breath and the body are always present. So it can keep the mind in the present moment if we focus on that breath. Perhaps with time you might move on to use other meditation objects, but today we're just going to use that breath. And because this open monitoring meditation is directed towards things, directed towards an object, it makes it easy to apply to our real day-to-day experience. So for example, when you're standing in line or standing on the train, you can apply it to your real experience, bring it into your day-to-day life. And basically, open monitoring meditation is a change of perception or a cognitive shift. You'll begin to understand that a little bit more as we progress through our open monitoring meditation over the next few weeks and sessions. So with time, it'll become an effortless effort. You'll move into a knowing mind. Don't worry if that doesn't really make any sense. Slowly with time, it will begin to just make more sense to you. And so now we're just going to come back to our setting up, back to our position that we were in before. So bringing the soles of the feet down onto the earth and bringing the feet hip width apart, the knees stacked above the ankles, so knees hip width apart as well. Lower back perhaps in contact with the back of the chair, upper back free, vertebrae neatly stacked, chin lightly tucked just to elongate into the back of the neck. We're going to take the hands into a different position this time, into our cosmic mudra. So take the back of one hand into the palm of the other and gently touch the thumbs. It doesn't matter which way around, left on right or right on left, whichever feels more comfortable. And just coming back into the body, closing down through the eyes if you're comfortable to do so. And we're just going to begin just with our noticing, just to draw our attention back, just to bring our focus back into our meditation. So taking all your focus down into the fingertips, perhaps beginning to feel that tingling sensation again, beginning to grow in the fingertips. Just allowing that buzzing to come into the fingertips. And then once that's established, just beginning to open up the awareness into the toes as well. Feeling that buzzing in the toes. Then allowing that tingling to slowly begin to travel up the limbs, so up the arms and up the legs, in towards the torso. And allowing that awareness to expand to our whole body. And just knowing that this right now, this is where you're meant to be. Not meant to be anywhere else, doing anything else. This is it. This is the moment. And we're just going to come into our open monitoring meditation now. So just as you inhale, notice the rising of the chest. And as you exhale, notice the falling of the chest. Rising and falling. Rising and falling. So we're just going to observe the breath. Try not to change the breath as it flows in and out of the body. Just allow it to move with freedom. Allow it to move naturally throughout the chest. Rising and falling, rising and falling. And don't worry if the mind begins to wander, just bring it back. Bring the focus back to that labeling of the rising and the falling. Don't beat yourself up, just bring it back. And just become aware of knowing the rising and falling. Don't worry about any of the mechanisms, don't worry about anything going on, just knowing rising and knowing falling. Rising, falling. Keeping this labeling of the breath. Just establishing that labeling, establishing that watching of the body. Watching of the motion of the chest, rising and falling. Beautiful, really nice. Keep it going, rising, falling, rising and falling. Keeping those labels. Again, just trying not to alter that breath. Allowing the breath just to flow as it wishes throughout the body. Rising and falling. Just coming back to knowing the breath if the mind begins to wander. It's okay if the mind does wander, it's alright, it's completely natural. Just bring it back. Come back to your meditation object, the breath, as it rises and falls. Rising and falling, rising and falling, keeping your focus on the breath, rising and falling. Just keeping your focus on this object, on this breath. Well done, really great job. Just allow your awareness now just to open up into the whole body. Just drop the chin a little further down towards the chest. Maybe just move the fingertips a little bit. Maybe just wiggling the fingertips. Just bringing a bit of motion, a bit of life back into the body. And then maybe just stretching the hands out, stretching the feet, just moving around as you need. Inhale, take a deeper breath. Exhale, take a deeper exhalation. And just slowly blinking open the eyes, allowing the light back into the body. Not staring at anything or anyone in particular. Just awakening the senses back again.